Well, we can't all coast through life like Amanda, my brother Marcus announced, holding his wine glass high at Thanksgiving dinner. 43 people laughed, including my mother. I was standing at the buffet table reaching for sweet potatoes when the words hit me like a slap. I turned slowly. Marcus was grinning at me from the head table, where he sat with his wife, his kids, and our parents. "What did you say?" I asked quietly. "Oh, come on, sis. Don't be sensitive." He took a sip. "We're just talking about how some of us work 80-hour weeks to build companies while others, have hobbies that pay." More laughter. My cousin Brian actually clapped. My mother smiled, that tight warning smile that meant don't make a scene. My father studied his plate. Marcus continued. "I mean, it's great that you have your little photography thing, very artistic. But let's be real. When you're ready to do something serious, I'm sure we can find you an entry-level position at the firm." "Marcus?" My voice cut through the room. "Stop talking." The laughter died. He blinked at me. "Excuse me?" I set my plate down carefully. My hands weren't shaking. Not yet. "How much did your company gross last year?" "I don't think that's 4.2 million. You've mentioned it 6 times tonight." I smiled. "How much did mine gross?" The room went silent. "I don't know what Marcus started. "Take a guess." He laughed nervously. "Amanda, you're a wedding photographer. You probably make, what, 30 or 40,000, which is fine, but 2.8 million, I said clearly. "Last year, my little photography thing grossed $2.8 million. Someone dropped a fork. "And that's just the photography studio," I continued, walking slowly toward his table. "That doesn't include my share of the commercial real estate LLC, or the consulting contracts with 3 Fortune 500 companies teaching corporate branding, or the passive income from the online courses I created that have sold to 60,000 students worldwide." Marcus's face had gone red. "You're lying." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, turned it to face the room. "That's last month's deposit from one wedding, destination event in Napa, $35,000 for 3 days of work." Dead silence. I looked at my mother. She was staring at her napkin. I looked at my father. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "But please," I said, turning back to Marcus, "tell me more about that entry-level position." "Let me back up. You need to understand how we got here. I'm the youngest, the creative one, the one who never applied herself according to every family dinner for the last 15 years. I went to art school instead of business school. I freelanced instead of getting a real job. I built a photography business from nothing, while Marcus went to Stanford and Dad paid for everything. For years, they treated me like a charity case, the struggling artist, the one who needed help, the one they felt sorry for. When I was 25 and booking my first corporate client, Marcus told people I was still figuring things out. When I was 28 and bought my first property, my mother said it was cute that I was trying real estate. When I turned 30 and hired my 5th employee, my father asked when I was going to settle down and get serious. They never asked what I earned, never asked to see my portfolio, never asked about my clients or my business model or my growth strategy. They just assumed I was failing, quietly, artistically, acceptably. And I let them think it, because correcting them felt like bragging, because I was busy actually building something instead of talking about it at holiday dinners. Until Marcus humiliated me in front of 43 people. Until something in me snapped. I didn't sit back down at the kids' table where they'd placed me, between my teenage cousin and her boyfriend. I didn't leave. I stood there, phone in hand, and decided I was done being quiet. "You want to talk about coasting? Let's talk about it." My mother stood up. "Amanda, that's enough." "No, Mom, it's not." I didn't look at her. I kept my eyes on Marcus. "You started your company with a $2 million loan from Dad, right?" Marcus's jaw tightened. "That was an investment, which you still haven't paid back. I checked the family trust documents when Grandma died last year. Dad wrote it off as a gift." I tilted my head. How much has Dad given you total, including the tuition, the loan, the house, the wedding, the down payment on your house, That's private family business, my father cut in. Is it? I looked at him now, because Marcus just made my income public business, so let's make it all public. I pulled up my notes app. I'd been tracking this for 3 years, ever since I overheard my parents talking about how they support Marcus's vision while I was in the other room, ever since I realized the family narrative was a lie. Marcus has received $2.4 million from you and Mom since 2015. Tuition, loan, house, car, office space, business operating costs. Should I keep going? Amanda, my mother's voice was shaking. I've received $12,000 total, a loan for camera equipment in 2016, which I paid back in full with interest in 2017. Do you want to see the bank transfer receipts? Marcus stood up. This is insane. You're embarrassing yourself. Am I? I laughed. It came out sharp. You just told 43 people I coast through life. You implied I'm unemployed. You offered me an entry-level position out of pity. And I'm the one who's embarrassing? I turned to address the whole room. My aunts, uncles, cousins, the family friends who'd known me since I was 6, the ones who'd watched Marcus get praise for mediocre achievements while I got silence for exceptional ones. I started my business 8 years ago with $3,000 and a used camera. No trust fund, no loans, no safety net. I freelanced as a bartender for 2 years while building my portfolio. I shot weddings for free to get testimonials. I cold emailed 500 companies before I got my first corporate contract. I looked at my father. You told people I was dabbling in photography. You told your golf buddies I'd grow out of it. You never once asked to see my work. He opened his mouth, closed it. Last month, I was the lead photographer for a Fortune 100 company's annual report. Next month, I'm shooting a campaign for a luxury hotel chain in Switzerland. In January, I'm teaching a masterclass at a conference where tickets are $3,000 each. I held up my phone again, showed them my Instagram, 240,000 followers, verified account, corporate sponsors, brand partnerships. But sure, Marcus, it's a hobby. The room stayed silent for a long time. Then my Aunt Carol, my mother's sister, started clapping, slowly at first, then louder. Good for you, Amanda, she said clearly. I always knew you had it in you. My mother turned to her, betrayed. Carol? Oh, shut up, Linda, Aunt Carol stood. We've all watched you parade Marcus around for years while Amanda worked twice as hard for half the recognition. It's pathetic. How dare you? How dare you? Carol shot back. That girl put herself through business school at night while running a company during the day. She never asked you for a dime, and you treated her like a disappointment. Business school? My father's voice was faint. What business school? UCLA Anderson Executive MBA program. Graduated last June, summa cum laude. My mother's face went white. You never told us. You never asked. I left 10 minutes later, grabbed my coat, walked out. Didn't say goodbye. My phone started buzzing before I reached my car. Texts from cousins I hadn't heard from in years, voicemails from aunts, 3 missed calls from my father. I drove home, poured a glass of wine, sat on my couch and stared at the city lights outside my window. My condo, my view, my space that I'd earned. And I felt nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction, just tired. The next morning, I woke up to an email from Marcus. Subject: I'm sorry. I almost deleted it, but something made me open it. Amanda, I was out of line last night. Way out of line. I don't know why I said those things. Maybe because I've been stressed about the company. We're barely breaking even, and Dad's starting to ask about repayment. Maybe because I've always been intimidated by how easily things seem to come to you. Maybe because I'm an asshole. You're right about everything. I've been coasting on Dad's money while you built something real. I've been talking about success while you've been achieving it. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I am genuinely sorry. And for what it's worth, I'd love to actually see your work sometime, not to critique it or offer advice, just to see what you've built. M. I read it 3 times. Then I wrote back. Marcus, thanks for the apology. I accept it, but I need you to understand something. This wasn't about one comment at one dinner. It's been 15 years of comments, 15 years of being dismissed, of having my achievements minimized, of being treated like the family failure while you were treated like the golden child. I don't need your validation anymore. I don't need moms or dads either. I spent my 20s trying to prove myself to people who'd already decided I wasn't worth their attention. I'm done with that. If you want to see my work, my website is public. If you want a relationship with me that's based on mutual respect instead of condescension, we can try. But it starts with you actually seeing me as an equal. Not a little sister, not a charity case. An equal. A. He wrote back 2 hours later. Deal. My parents took longer. 3 weeks of silence. Then a dinner invitation. Just the 3 of us, my mother wrote. We'd like to talk. I almost said no, but something in me, maybe the part that still wanted parents who saw me, said yes. We met at a restaurant. Neutral ground. My mother looked older than I remembered. My father looked uncomfortable. We owe you an apology, Dad started. A big one. Okay. My mother reached across the table. I didn't take her hand. She pulled it back. We didn't realize how successful you'd become, she said carefully. That's not the apology I need, I replied. I don't need you to apologize for not knowing I was successful. I need you to apologize for assuming I wasn't, for treating me like a failure without ever asking questions, for 15 years of dismissal. Silence. We're proud of you, my father tried. Now you are, I said, now that you know the numbers. But what if I was making $40,000? What if I was exactly the struggling artist you thought I was? Would I still deserve respect? Would my work still matter? My mother's eyes filled. Of course, no. I shook my head. You need to think about that, because your love shouldn't be conditional on my income, and your respect shouldn't require a 7-figure business. I stood up, put 2 20s on the table. When you're ready to see me as a person instead of a portfolio, call me. Until then, I'm good. I walked out. It's been 4 months. My mother and I text occasionally, surface-level stuff. My father sent me a card for my birthday with a check inside. I deposited it, then donated the same amount to an arts education nonprofit. Marcus and I meet for coffee sometimes. It's awkward, but it's honest. He's seeing a therapist, working through some things. He admitted his company is struggling and he doesn't know how to fix it. I gave him the name of a consultant I trust. Didn't offer to help personally. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I'm not sure we'll ever be close, but we might be real. Last week, I booked the biggest contract of my career, a 2-year partnership with a global fashion brand, $800,000 annually. I posted about it on LinkedIn. My mother commented, "So proud of you, sweetheart." I didn't reply, but I didn't delete it either. Progress, maybe, in tiny, painful increments. But here's what I know now. I don't need them to see me. I see myself. I see what I've built. I see the girl who started with nothing and created everything. And that's enough. They can either catch up or get left behind. Either way, I'm moving forward. On my own terms, in my own way, with my own damn validation. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been underestimated by the people who were supposed to believe in you most? How did you prove them wrong? Or did you stop trying?